I have recently read the Tusculan Disputations by Marcus Tullius Cicero. Marcus Tullius Cicero was a Roman statesman from the last part of the history of the Roman Republic before the Caesars, the emperors, took over. And he was very much dissatisfied with this progression. He wanted to keep the old republic to this tradition. He was largely conservative politically. Just less was his friend Brutus. And Brutus was the man who has, of course, is mainly known as one of the killers of the murderers of Caesar. But he was also an aristocrat and Roman aristocrat and conservative politician, and he also wanted to preserve the republic. By the way, Cicero was different in opinion about killing Caesar. He did not know about this plot of to kill Caesar, and he wouldn't, if he knew, he wouldn't have supported it, because he was of an opinion that killing a tyrant that will not dissolve tyranny, will not help to get rid of the tyranny. He had some reservations to Pompey. He found Pompey largely better than Caesar, because Pompey had some trace of respect for the old republican political and other traditions, whereas Caesar had nothing of that sort. The man who has inspired Cicero to write the Tusculan Disputations, which Cicero wrote in 45 BC in his villa in Tusculum. The man who inspired him, who urged him to do it, was Brutus. So he, in the introduction, he is referring to this fact. Okay, so he wanted to revive the Roman philosophy, and he was of an opinion that the Romans have already surpassed the Greeks when it comes to something we would call science today. So in knowledge about the affairs of the world and so on. And he said that the Romans were a little bit slow to adapt poetry and philosophy, but now they are totally better than the Greeks. And in spite of this, many Romans think philosophy is not needed, and he wants to revive philosophy a little bit by coping with this problem. Okay, so this is a pretty ambitious task, and he formed 5 disputations that takes part during 5 days, and then it was the effects were written down by Cicero. He says about, so first problem that he analyzes is the immortality of soul. He said he is not like totally in favor of the idea that the souls are immortal, but he thinks that, or the existence of the souls even, but he thinks just that the arguments given by the people who want to say that there are no souls and there's just only bodies and the material world, those arguments are even weaker than the weak arguments of the other side. He also thinks about that it's not so very probable that the soul is living on when the body is already dead. Maybe it's not. Maybe soul is just like body and also dies. He thinks he is against atheism, but not as an attitude, but mainly because there are little or maybe nothing like a huge or a bigger tribe or something that was largely thinking that there are no gods. Okay, so we have some natural tendencies of believing in gods or God. He thinks that when it comes to thinking and writing about soul, it's very hard to start, because you have to take in your thoughts, to separate thinking about senses and about the soul, because they are so really